Hello world, welcome back to Razor RC. It's time to do a little video about the Tekno MT410. We're going to talk about tuning your MT410 to get the best performance out of it. Out of the box, there are some steering issues. It doesn't turn particularly well. It is a durable monster truck, but I think on the performance and handling side, it could use a little bit of work. But fortunately, actually, the MT410 is one of the most tunable platforms on the market today. It's pretty much a race truck, has every tuning adjustment that you can make, and so makes for a really nice platform to get the most performance out of. So first off, big shout out to Euro RC for sponsoring this series of videos. If you want to pick up the Tekno MT410, definitely check them out. We have a 5% off coupon code. Or if you want to pick up any other basher or race kit, Arma, Team Associated, Team Corrali, all that good stuff, they do carry all those brands. So first off, I'm just going to talk about the kit in itself. Out of the box, I think the kit setup needs some work. They ask you to do 100K, 50K fluids in the differentials. That makes for, a monster truck that doesn't steer particularly well. So I am going to talk about the changes I made. So I'm actually running 40K, 100K, 20K. I think you could even go down to 20K, 100K, 20K. That would work as well. 40K is just a little more stable, but if you really want like sharp turns, sharp cornering in smaller spaces, you could try 20K. Other changes I made is I did remove a washer from the steering knuckles. So there's basically like these steering stops that limit travel there. As you can see, there's like 3 washers on there. I think kit setup calls for 4. You can go down to 3, although I would not go smaller than 3 washers, but that pretty much is limiting your steering travel. And the reason they have that is basically because with the big monster truck tires, they do kind of tend to rub against the arms if there's not enough of those stops. And so when there's kind of a limitation how tightly you can actually have these steering knuckles turn. So go down to 3 and that should work, give you a little bit more travel, and then obviously set your endpoints as well. Another change I made was to tighten down the servo saver. I'm running a pretty solid servo, so no big changes there. But yeah, you can definitely go a couple turns tighter on the servo saver. Mine, I wouldn't say is fully tightened down, but there's still probably a full turn left, maybe a full turn back out one, somewhere around there. But tightening down the servo saver does give you a little more precision in the steering. It doesn't give quite as easily. As long as you have a decent middle gear servo, then that should be totally fine. Other changes I made were to the pills. So a lot of people probably don't know this, but there are these little inserts in the ABCD blocks, and as you can see, I'm running 2 dots down. So that basically reduces the kick up on the front end, gets the front arms a little flatter. It doesn't tend to nosedive quite as much under braking. It's just going to stay a little more flat. It's going to give you a little more direct steering as well. Kicking it up a little bit more, kind of leaning it back, doesn't make it a little more easy driving over the bumps and stuff like that, but does give it a little less precision in the steering, a little bit less immediate response. So kind of dropping down, that basically drops down I think a ½ degree. Just gives you a little more precision and immediacy in the steering itself. I also made changes to the rear pills. So on the rear pills, as you can see, I'm running basically so that one's off a little bit. Sorry, this pill here, it's supposed to be down and to the corner. Again, 2 dots. Just gives a little less, a little more anti-squat and a little more rear toe in. So that again is just preventing the truck from wheeling quite as much. Also gives a little more toe in, which gives a little more precision, a little more traction in the rear end, allows it to go straight a little bit more. So it's a little more point and shoot than before, but allows the rear end to kind of hook up a little more and launch it straight, gets you that nice forward drive. And then another change I made was to basically go to like a long wheelbase. So what I did was basically put all those little spacers on the rear hubs, all the way in the front of the rear hubs. That kind of lengthens the wheelbase a little bit more. Again, a lot of the changes I made were basically to get to drive a little bit better, not wheelie quite as much. You want to be able to put down the power, not have the front end kind of come up. That allows you to get a little bit better acceleration, get a little more speed into those big jumps and stuff. So that is another change that helped quite a bit. And then on the electronic side, I did make some changes. So I am running 37.5% of brakes on the ESC. So out of the box, my Arma ESC here comes with 50% brakes. A little too touchy. You don't really want that strong of brakes, especially in the air when you're doing a lot of backflips and stuff. You want to kind of a little mild. That way when you squeeze the brakes, just kind of brings the nose down a little more gently. I'm also running 15% of basically expo on the brakes, so that's in the radio itself, not on the ESC. If you have a little more advanced radio, you do have something called expo. You can throw that on the throttle on the braking side. Just makes the touchiness of the brakes a little bit softer, a little easier to control in the air when you're doing all those backflips. Finally, I am setting the punch up to maximum, of course. You know, I want full throttle. I want to be able to put that power down, get that thing going. So I personally like full punch, but if you want, you could tone it down a little bit, but it kind of depends on your level of throttle control. And then the last two changes are on the front end. First thing I did was go to a thinner front sway bar. So this is a 2.4 millimeter sway bar. Out of the box, it comes with a 2.6. Really is a little bit on the stiff side. A little bit of a thinner sway bar will allow the front end to kind of like dig in, steer a little bit better. So I do recommend a little bit thinner sway bar. And then I also did move the shocks to the outside one hole on the shock tower. Just stiffens them up a little bit more, gets them a little more progressive. I think they're a little too far laid down out of the box. What they have is basically like an ET48 arm here, and then like a short course shock tower. So this shock tower is actually a little too small for this arm, and so you really want to run it kind of to the outside, get a little more linearity on that shock progression. Otherwise it tends to be a little bit soft immediately in the stroke. So those are my recommendations for the Tekno MT410. I've got some running footage as well. It's raining a little bit, but this thing drives amazing now. It's pretty much drives itself. It's so easy to drive, you know, I hardly make any mistakes. I think in this running footage, I like crashed one time and had to cut the video, but other than that, it's pretty much one continuous take essentially. So yeah, this truck is out of the box, doesn't steer particularly well, it does need a few little minor changes to the setup, and then it drives awesome. A lot of people complain that it's got no steering, you know, it turns like a big old bus, but that's really due to some of the out of the box kit setup things that I think are wrong that you can adjust. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Definitely hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons, and look for more videos soon. Thanks for watching. Yeah, this one's fun. Ah, awesome. Thanks. Whoops. Uh-oh.
Balanced, or do you have a rated more towards the front or back?
It's pretty balanced. Yeah, this one drives the best. It'll nosedive a tiny bit, but it's pretty balanced.
A little bit of weight in the front does help with the rotation of the flips, and if you flip the guide like that,
yeah.
back in next to go,
It'll I kind of had to save that one a little.
Another guy over here, he has parts, I think he's got 4951, he said.
Okay.
I think it's like 49.51 or 50.50. Every time you try to hit the flex, it just goes straight up and just bounces back down.
Yeah, good idea to stay by the fence. It's a safe spot. Yeah, you just keep accelerating.
I am filled with tiny clips looking this one's cool.
Running, come in, sit by Mama. We're watching it.
Front flip. Yeah, stay back by the fence, buddy, because no, by the fence. It's
like that.
Yeah.
So we can do that.
We're gonna have to leave if you can't come and sit by Mama.
oops.
Yeah, but there's also ice here.
Oh. Almost. He's off by a little bit.
Be here, we'll watch. You wanna sit with
How did that thing hit the tree?
I jumped kind of far on that one. It's the first time.
$200-$300 cars. They're not like
Oh.
If we could actually do that on four-wheel drive cars,
That'd be crazy.
that right there would be some gnarly stuff.
Yep.
Oh, and it's a proper dealing on the end.
This game down to 50 days, you're gonna have to go to
There we go. Triple.
Way faster. Whoa.
That's why he didn't want it.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure if I could do that.
Wait, what's that, Randy?
Uh-oh.
Huh? Take out the drive shaft.